October 2nd, 2014. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 57 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So you know what I did this last week? I went up to Harrah's, and you can do this at any Caesars property. It's part of Total Rewards. I had about $700 in reward credits. What does that work out to be? 70,000 reward credits?
70,000,
That's
right, correct.
About $700. So you can use reward credits, to pay for meals, or they've got stuff in the catalog.
You can pay for hotel rooms.
Yeah, rooms and stuff like that. So I was thinking, well, I actually need cash for our upcoming trip. And it's not that often that I use the reward credits. Here and there, I'll get a hot dog or something, but, I'm not spending.
Well, we get our rooms comped when we go to Vegas.
Right.
And we usually get our food comped.
Yeah.
So we don't really have much else to spend it on. We go to the gift shop and buy candy.
Yep.
stuff. But yeah, you can turn it in for actual free play. It's not money.
Not cash. And it's not 1-to-1 either. Now, I'm a Diamond member. And Diamond members, the ratio is 1.75 to 1.
Now, is that for every diamond, or does it depend on your level?
No, that's any diamond.
Okay.
So what that means is that if I cashed in $170 worth of reward credits, they'd give me $100 in free play.
Right.
That I could take to the machine, right? Which is not that great a deal. But again, think about these reward credits. If you're spending them on stuff in the catalog's way overpriced.
Oh, it's double.
Yeah.
It's double everything.
Yeah, so it's not like I had about $700 in reward credits. Not really $700, right?
Right. No, the catalog, because we order a ton of stuff on the catalog.
Yeah.
And it is about twice as much as what you would buy in a store.
Yeah. So I thought, these reward credits, they're just building up. So I cashed it in. So $700 in reward credits got me $400 in free play. And I've started to play that free play. Hopefully I can translate that into about $400 regular. Yeah. Now you, as a 7 stars, your ratio is 1.25 to 1.
Right.
So $125 in reward credits gets you 100. That's pretty good.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you play it in video poker and you have a little bit of luck, you can almost get,
it could almost be 1-to-1.
It could almost be 1-to-1.
Now, if you're not diamond or 7 stars, if you're just platinum or gold, it's 2-to-1. Yeah. The ratio. So, it's not nearly as good, but chances are you don't have as many reward credits anyway if you're platinum or gold. So, it might
Here's
not be
the thing with me. Okay. So, I've fluctuated from, sometimes I drain that down to nothing. And I've had as much as like $5,000 in reward credits, not 5,000 points, $5,000.
Right.
And then I, go and buy on a big spending spree and buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. If I don't need the money, I always feel like, well, if I get merchandise, even though I know I'm paying an inflated rate, number one, it's something tangible.
Sure.
That I'm not going to lose because I get the free play.
Yeah.
Right. I go to the video poker machine. I put it in there. I turned $500 of free play into like $480 of real money. Then I go to the craps table and lose it.
well, you're going to lose the $480 anyway.
Yeah, right. Right. That's probably true. It does save me money.
Yeah.
But like we have a huge TV sitting in our living room that we haven't hooked up yet that that we bought with reward points. And my wife gets tons of purses and things like that. We bought a lot of Christmas gifts, things like that. So it is nice in that respect.
Yeah, sure.
To get gifts. But when you need the money, it's great that you have access to some free play.
Yeah, so anybody out there who's part of Total Rewards, it is something to keep in mind. It's not for everybody. I'm sure there are a lot of people who do like to apply it to their hotel room.
Right.
Or to, meals or something like that. Yeah, and that makes sense too, because honestly, if you apply it to a hotel room or a restaurant, that's not the overinflated price, right?
That's the
price that
regular
the public's
price.
playing. So you are, getting your money's worth, so to speak.
Right.
So, it's an option.
I like to go on Paul's method. Remember Paul, he said that at one point we were gambling, playing a lot of Pie Gal. And he said, every time I get a big win, he said, I take the money home and then we go out the next night or we go out the next week and I lose most of it back, and it's like come and go. He said, so I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
When I get a big win, I'm just going to go the next morning, like Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and buy something. So I have something tangible.
Yeah.
And his theory was to buy things that won't run out. Like, just go buy a bunch of salt.
That won't go bad.
Yeah, that won't go bad.
He goes out and buys all the salt he'll need for the rest of his life. That's his idea.
Toilet paper. You go out and buy all the toilet paper you're going to need for the rest of your life, and then you're set.
But see, then you got to pay for a bigger house to store all the salt and toilet paper.
I told him once, get mustard. Mustard never spoils.
That's true, yeah.
Never spoils. You can take a jar of mustard, open the lid, put it out in the middle of the road in San Diego on the hottest day of the year, come back a week later and eat that mustard.
It's just
mustard.
Just
never spoils.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, yeah, okay, so I need like one little jar of mustard because that's my whole life. That's how much mustard he eats. And salt too. He said he needed like one thing of salt.
Nice. So let's jump to the news. You may recall we talked about a case in Atlantic City where at the Golden Nugget, players won a bunch of money. I think it was about $1.5 million playing at a Baccarat table where they discovered that the cards had not been shuffled.
So they were coming out in the order.
Yeah. So what happened was the casino originally gave them $500,000 out of this $1.5 million. And then they sued the players to give the money back.
Right.
And so it was this.
Well, after the players decided that the owner decided that he would go ahead and pay them and they would drop their lawsuit against the casino.
Right. So yeah, that's how it first started.
Some of them didn't want to drop it.
That's how it first started. It went to court and the court ruled in favor of the players.
Right.
And, but then, the owners went against his lawyer's wishes and said, no, I don't want to appeal. Let's just give them the money.
Get it over with.
Right. But then the players said, no, that's not good enough because you illegally detained us. Yeah. They were backroomed or who knows exactly what happened, but they wouldn't go for it. So it went back to court. And the second court ruled in favor of the casino. Right? Okay. So now it's, where does it stand? Well, recently now, this wasn't the court coming back, but the Division of Gaming Enforcement took a look at all this and they determined that everything was on the up and up. This game was legal because the last court said, oh, it wasn't a legal game.
Right.
Because these cards weren't shuffled, right?
Right.
But the Division of Gaming Enforcement said, no, this was a legal game. So this is good for the players.
Yeah. Right. One thing I noticed in here, reading your little synopsis, that the Gaming Commission said that the casino itself was watching the game.
Yes.
And had they thought anything was wrong, they could have stopped it at any point, said no.
Right. And they
that shoe's over, and they didn't do anything. They were actually watching the game the whole time.
Yes.
And they let it play out.
Yep.
So, if they let it play out, it's kind of their fault.
Oh, it definitely is. And we talked about it before. The players are so much in the right here as far as I'm concerned. Now, this is what was interesting. Last time we talked about it, we said unshuffled cards. Well, who's not going to notice that? Even the dealer's going to notice, ace, 2, 3. Well, here's some clarification. I'm glad we finally kind of got to this. I'm reading from an AP article here. They said the cards were not in sequential 1, 2, 3 order, but were arranged in a preset pattern that repeated itself every 16 hands. So within the shoe,
right.
If you just looked at like the first 16 hands, like, a bunch of random cards, but then that same pattern repeated.
So how big's that shoe that they could take advantage of that?
Well, keep in mind, this is Baccarat, right? So every hand, there's only a player's hand and a banker's hand.
Right.
And at most, 6 cards are used.
Right. So you think it's a 6-deck shoe?
Or it could be 8 decks. I think they usually use big shoes here. And I don't know if this was more than one shoe or not.
Right.
But, the players picked up on it, hey, these cards are coming out the same as they did 16 hands ago.
So in 2 sequences, let's say you had 16 hands and there were 4 cards used.
In each hand?
In each hand.
Okay.
So that'd be 64.
Theoretical, but
that'd be 64 cards.
Yeah.
So that's like one deck.
Yeah.
So they go through the first deck, you wouldn't notice anything.
Yeah.
You get the second deck, you're like, oh, well, that's weird. That's the same thing we had before.
Yeah.
And about halfway through that deck, you kind of figure it out.
And maybe again, it crossed over to additional shoes.
So right. Well, but if there were 8 shoes, 8 decks in that shoe, and then you're on the second deck, you figured it out, right? And they're only going to, let's say they're going to play 6 decks out of the 8.
Yeah.
Right. You still got like 3.5 decks to.
Yeah.
You could win a substantial amount of money.
Well, yeah. And, they said that the players, started their bets about $10 and then increased it ultimately to $5,000 a hand, which might have been the max there. But, and it's interesting because Jamaco, the company that actually provided the decks,
Cards,
the cards, they admitted that they weren't shuffled. They basically admitted fault. And so, I'm sure we talked about this.
And
there was some
still
kind
no
of
amount. They settled with the casino.
They settled with the casino,
they
right?
probably gave them all the money.
It's possible. Yeah. We talked about that too. It's like a free roll for the casino. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Pay the players and get your money back from the card maker or most of it.
Yeah. So the case is still ongoing, but at least this ruling from the regulators is good for the players. So hopefully we'll see this move forward.
It's been 2 years.
Well, you know how that kind of thing. Yeah. Casinos don't like giving up their money.
I wonder how many players are dividing that $1.5 million. Do you know?
I can't remember, but
I mean, one table, right? So
one table. Yeah.
Maybe 7, 8 players or maybe 5.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, 5 into $1.5 million, and they might be asking for more because if they were illegally detained, they may want some, some damages.
Some damages for that. Yep. Some more news from Atlantic City. So Revel went up for auction here recently, and it has been sold. What did I say? Revel?
You said Revel because that's the college you went to.
That's the college, and you went to the same college, right? See, I keep doing that.
Yeah.
Revel. All right.
Revel is one of the colleges at UC San Diego, which is where we both graduated from.
Revel Casino sold. It sold for $110 million at auction. They built it for $2.4 billion.
Yeah.
And it sold for $110 million.
We could almost have bought that.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. But, it was sold to a company, a Toronto-based company called Brookfield US Holdings LLC. They're going to pay the $110 million, and they have promised to open it again as a hotel casino.
Okay.
Now,
do you know what LLC stands for?
Tell me.
Limited Liability Corporation.
So, yeah.
Do you think they've limited any liability by buying it?
Well, we'll see. They actually do own and operate a couple more casinos. The Hard Rock in Las Vegas and Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Oh, okay.
So they own casinos.
So they know how to run a casino.
They do, but get this. This is the thing, right? They own the Hard Rock, right, in Las Vegas. But Brookfield, I'm going to read here from this AP article. Brookfield told security regulators in August that it was unable to make an interest payment due that month for the Hard Rock.
Interest only, probably.
Yeah, right. And was trying to work things out with its lenders, who could demand immediate repayment of nearly $1 billion in debt.
Oh, my God.
So
maybe they don't know how to run a casino.
But they're saying, this is going to have no effect on our purchase.
Yeah.
We're going to move forward. We're really excited. We're going to make it a hotel casino. Anyway, it's got to be better than the previous
Right.
management.
Right.
My gosh.
It's a nice casino.
Sure. Very nice.
It was very nice inside. And, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary that would make you not want to go there.
Right.
There was no bunker or anything.
That's right. No bunker.
As far as I could tell.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, how could they lose money?
We've talked about this, right? The Borgata, another high-end casino in Atlantic City, is doing fine.
Right.
Right. But we also talked about this. There was something about Revel, too, when we were in there. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because we were losing. But we also remember when we were there and it was like a $10 table. And then they said, okay, we're bumping it up to 50 on the next shooter.
Right.
From 10 to 50.
To 50.
What?
We were like 10 to 15 maybe.
Sure. But
because we're at 50? Really? Yeah, it was weird. It's management problems.
Yeah. It probably went all the way up. So it's, but we'll see. But anyway, they're saying that they're going to open it again. So that is good news for Atlantic City, especially since it only recently closed.
Right.
So it's not like they've got, a big mess of, cobwebbed rooms and everything they have to deal with as long as they move quickly on it.
$110 million. I wonder what the room capacity is there. It's a fairly big casino. You would think just the stuff inside,
Mike,
would be worth $100 million.
$110 million for a $2.4 billion property.
It's a sweet deal if they can make it work.
It was auction, It still has to it has to go through some approvals.
But I wonder how long it takes a casino that size at full capacity to make $110 million profit.
Well, it
can't be very long.
That's a good question. But they were losing money, in the previous management. So they weren't making anything, right?
Working and run properly, I'm going to estimate within 6 months they make $100 million.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
If they
I hope you're right.
I mean, think about what a gold mine that is for whoever bought it.
Sure. Oh, yeah,
right?
sure. If somebody's
you
smart.
recoup your investment in a 6-month period.
If you can run it properly.
Even 2 years, which is standard for most businesses to recoup their investment.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd still be way money ahead, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, we want to thank everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. Hey, we got to go to the voicemail hotline. Don't forget, call us on our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your call on the show. Let's go to Ron.
Mike and Mark, just hop to 5 and 9, guys. You guys know the deal. What's going on? Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know this question. This is pretty much like a did you know? Probably go for Mark more than Mike because I know Mark likes to play the don'ts, so I can recall sometimes. But at the MGM properties or at the MGM, did you know that you don't have to pay the VIG up front for a don't bet? For example, if you're gonna lay the 4 or 10 for $200, you wouldn't have to pay the VIG till after the 7 rolls. So you pay the $5 after the 7 rolls. But if the 4 or 10 hits, you just lose out on the $200 and not $205. So that's pretty much just a little did you know. I don't know if you guys knew that at the MGM properties. I just found that out like the other day. So I want to fill you in on that, guys. Remember, hop to 5 and 9. Take it easy. Later.
Now, it's funny because I kind of assumed that in Vegas, since you don't have to pay the VIG up front when you buy the 4 and 10, I just assumed you didn't have to pay the VIG for lay bets either.
Yeah, but I think you do.
Yeah.
Because I don't play that much.
Right.
I mean,
you don't make lay bets.
I don't
often.
lay bets. I mean, you could probably count those on one hand or one finger.
One finger, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the times that I've made a lay bet.
Yeah.
But I noticed people making lay bets paying the VIG up front.
Yeah.
So they'll give a guy like, say, $100 or $205.
Yeah.
And lay the 4.
Right. And again, lay bets are a bet that the number will not be rolled before a 7. It's kind of the opposite of a buy bet or a place bet, right? And you have to pay 5% on the amount of money that you would win.
Right.
So
your $200 no 4 is going to pay $100 and you pay $5. Yeah. So I've seen people give them like $205, and pay the VIG right up front.
Yeah.
So that's good that MGM doesn't do that. That's a great bet, actually.
That is good. That's very good. And Ron, I think Ron is working at SLS now. We've heard rumors because he used to work here at Harrah's by us. Yeah. So, I mean, at SLS, they must take the VIG up front, right? Because he probably wouldn't even have mentioned it, right? He
wouldn't have mentioned it, right? So, or he would have said, come here to SLS.
Yeah, right. But that is good news. I'm going to ask around at some of the other casinos when we're there next and just ask, because it's standard now in Las Vegas that if you buy the 4 and 10, you don't have to pay the VIG up front. It's only on winners. Right. But I'd like to kind of just take an informal poll.
I can see him collecting the VIG because, it's a lay bet.
I guess.
I mean, they're thinking, you have the advantage. 7's going to come up before that 4, right? I mean, that's the casino thinking.
Okay. If it's the casino thinking, then I guess I won't laugh.
Then they're thinking, okay, we need our $5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's probably what they're thinking.
Yeah. Well, let's check it when we're in Vegas. And then Ron, hop in the 5 and 9.
That's Ron's bet.
He'd always try to get you to hop the 5 and 9.
He wants to hop the 5 and 9 on every roll.
5 and 9. Loves when the point's 5 or 9.
And then he'll like, come on, Mike, hop it. And sure enough, if I don't, it's 5 or 9.
So we got some emails from listener Victor. I've kind of been exchanging emails with him recently, and we've been talking about craps and kind of the philosophical arguments behind making certain bets versus others, and also the math behind it, And one of the first, we've gone back and forth, but one of the first emails that he sent, he was talking about taking odds on 4 versus placing the 6. Now, that seems like, what? How are those even related? But what he said is, what if you've got this scenario? It's like you make a pass line bet, right? And 4 is rolled as the point.
Right.
So you're saying, okay, I could take odds on the 4 and it'll pay 2 to 1. But if I place the 6
with the same money,
with about the same,
right.
virtually the same.
So if you're going to take $10 odds, he'll like place the 6 for 12 or something.
Right. Or you could say, $12 odds on the 4 versus a $12 placement. So I could take the odds and get 2 to 1 on the 4, but chances are that's going to lose. Right.
Right. You're at a disadvantage.
But if I place the 6, I have more of a chance of winning that bet.
Chances are it's still going to lose.
Yeah, but I have a better chance of winning that place bet than winning the odds bet on the 4.
Right.
So, we were talking about how, if you're just looking at the math, taking odds on the 4 is easily the better bet.
Right.
There's no house edge. In the long run, you won't win or lose. It's true odds, right?
Right. So it's, you're going to get paid the amount you're due if 4 comes up.
Right.
We always tell people, doesn't mean you're going to win.
That's right.
Doesn't mean 4 is going to come up, but when it does come up, you're going to get the odds you deserve.
But if you want to make a bet that's more likely to win than your odds bet on the 4, placing the 6 is more likely to win than the odds bet on the 4. It doesn't pay as well.
Right.
It only pays 7 to 6, not 2 to 1. But your chances of winning it are better. And it kind of got me thinking about, when you teach people the game, if somebody comes up and you're teaching the game, okay, make your pass line bet here, and 4 just happens to be the first point that's rolled.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, great, I'm trying to teach them the game.
And 4's not going to come.
4's not going to come, right? It's the hardest point to roll, right?
It's hard to convince them. And then you convince them to take odds.
Yeah. It's a great bet.
And the guy 7's out, and you're like, wait a minute, I lost twice as much money?
And then meanwhile, he's rolled a bunch of 6s and 8s, right? It's I don't know if the logic is the same here, but let's say you've decided you're going to bet $1 million on blackjack, right? One hand of blackjack, okay? And it's your life savings. I'm not suggesting anybody do that, but for this example, let's say you do that. Put $1 million down, you're dealt blackjack. The dealer's got an ace up.
Yeah, you take even money?
Right. It's like, do you take insurance? Right. Well, sure you do.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Well, it's your life savings.
It's your life savings, right? So it's kind of that same thing. It's the wrong move.
Right.
But, maybe in certain circumstances, like, okay, this is going to be the only time I play craps, or I'm teaching my dad how to play craps, and I want it to be a positive experience. I want to give him bets that he's more likely to win, right?
This would be my advice.
Yeah.
Don't take odds on the 4.
Okay.
Place the 6. Instead of $12 odds, let's say you have a $5 line bet.
Yeah.
Instead of $12 odds, put a $12 6.
Yeah.
If it hits, take the $14 you get and put it on odds on your 4.
All right.
And then if 6 hits again, bank that money so you paid for the 6.
Okay.
All right. If it hits again, bank it. Now you paid for the odds on the 4 and the 6.
I think I'm going to start a new podcast. It's just you with crap systems. Here's what you do under every possible situation. Here it is.
Well, I was thinking about this today because I read your emails.
Yeah, I'm the one who responds to emails. I always
Mark
forward
always
it to
responds.
Mike. Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
He responds and then he forwards it to me and I read them. And I'm reading your email and you're talking about, placing versus making an odds bet. And
or placing versus come bets. That's always
placing versus come bets too. And I'm thinking to myself, it depends really what it boils down to is how aggressive are you? A gambler.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right? Because a lot of times I like to place the inside numbers, say my 0.6. So then I take $80 inside. I place the 5, 8, and 9. And then I make a come bet.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Right. And
that's really aggressive because then I'm going up. I'm actually using my winning. Let's say 5's rolled. I use some of my money that I win on my place bet as my odds for my come bet.
Yes.
And I'm increasing my bet. So if 5 hits again, I've really made quite a bit of money off that.
Sure.
And that's and I was thinking about that with me. I'm like, I'm doing both.
Yeah, that's true. Right? Yeah, you're doing both.
But I feel comfortable being a little more aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, you need a hot roll like anything, but sure.
Like anything else. Yeah. And it can burn you, but it can help you too.
Yeah.
And it's not till the end of that roll can you say, oh, I should have done this. Yeah. Or this is the way I should have played, right?
Yeah. Well, short-term crap sessions,
right.
Whatever you're happiest doing.
Right. And that's what it boils down to. Yeah. Now, if you're looking at long-term, we can probably come up with a better system.
Well, sure. If you're talking long-term, then you go to the math. Yeah, and you can say for sure, hey, those odds on the 4 It's a way better bet than placing the 6.
So if you're a
just no doubt
professional
about
craps
it.
player,
If you're doing this for a living,
yeah, then there's a certain way you should be playing.
That's right.
And if you're going for 2 hours of fun, then play according to your bankroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Be as aggressive or non-aggressive as your bankroll can handle.
Sure. Yep.
That'd be my advice.
You're there to have fun. Yeah.
Right.
So thanks for the email, Victor. That reminds me too. One of Victor's emails somehow got by me. He was responding to a question that he asked, and he said, I kind of figured this out for myself. And I looked at the original email that he had sent, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked and I thought, gosh, did I accidentally throw it away, or did it go into the spam folder or what? I couldn't find it anywhere.
It's computers.
It's computers, yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know out there, when you contact us via email or Twitter or Facebook, any of that stuff, I always respond. And if I don't, it's because somehow I have not seen the message. I went to Facebook today and just went to my messages area because sometimes I'll just look to see if I missed something. Sure enough, I'd missed one, that had come like last week. And it's like, oh my gosh, I never got notification for this. So, I want to apologize up front to anybody who's tried to contact us.
That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
Because
it'd be worse with you.
Way worse with me.
Right.
Way worse.
Absolutely way worse. So we were talking before we started recording about when our next episode will be, because we try to record every other Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And if we stick with this, the next time that we would record would be the day before we leave for Vegas. And that's probably going to be a little much. I probably wouldn't be able to get together with you and vice versa, right?
I've got to prepare myself for Vegas.
Yeah. So
a lot of preparation
that's
the night
right.
before.
So our next episode will probably be in 3 weeks. And it will be a Las Vegas trip report because
and
we will
be
just
right after we come
It'll be
back.
right after we come back. So it'll be fresh in our mind. And to remind everybody, we're going there for VIMF and we're going to be there. We're actually getting there Thursday night, the 16th, yes. And the next day, Friday, the 17th, a reminder at 12 noon at the D, we're having a craps meetup with Barry and all the folks from the craps Facebook page. We're going to meet there at 12 o'clock, take over at least one of the craps tables there, and have a great craps session before VIMF officially starts. Good. So we hope to see you there.
And you've got the whole weekend planned out for me. Schedule and everything.
I haven't sent you the schedule yet, but it is minute by minute and cannot be deviated from at all.
Oh, boy.
So I'll send that to you this week and you can look it over.
That's how this always works. And then I'll just go do whatever the hell I want.
Yep. Hey, it's time for our Poker Home Game segment. This is the segment where we talk about poker games that you wouldn't find in a poker room at a casino, but that you might play with your buddies when you get together for a poker home game. This episode, we're going to talk about Anaconda. This is a pretty popular home game, right?
Also known as Pass the Trash.
Pass the Trash, yeah.
I'm sure it has other names.
Oh, yeah. So here's how it works. Everybody antes, and then everybody is dealt 7 cards down. And you look at your cards, and there's usually a betting round first. So, since nobody sees the cards at this point, usually I just kind of rotate the bet.
Right.
So like the person to the dealer's left bets, then the next round it'll
Second
be
from
the
the
next.
left,
That way. So there's a betting round. You look at your cards and you have to discard 3 of them and pass them to the player to your left. Oh, and it's a high-low declare game also. Got to mention that.
Yeah.
So you're trying to go for either high or low. So you look at your 7 cards, you have to pass 3 to the player to your left. And of course, you're getting 3 from the player to your right. Then there's another betting round. Then you pass 2 cards to the player to your left. Could be 2 of the cards you just got from the guy from your right. You know, whatever, right? 2 of your 7 cards you pass to the player to your left. And then another betting round, right? Finally, you pass 1 card to the player to your left. Another betting round. And along the way, people can fold, raise, all the typical, poker moves, right? And at that point, after that betting round, everybody discards 2 of their cards. Mm-hmm. So now everybody has 5 cards in front of them. Okay? And each player arranges those 5 cards in the way that he wants to reveal them. Because ultimately, the game will end looking like 5-card stud. There will be 4 cards up and 1 card down. So at this point, you have to arrange your cards.
You're dealt 7.
You're dealt 7, but you've just discarded 2.
Oh, you discarded 2.
Yeah,
you're
keep up.
Yep.
All right.
I dozed off there for a second.
All right. So now you've got 5 cards. You have to set them in the order that you want to reveal them. And once you've set them in this order, you can't change it.
All right.
Right? So then the dealer counts to 3, 1, 2, 3, and everybody flips their top card. Now the person that has the highest card showing starts the betting, right? And there's a betting round. Then 1, 2, 3, the second card comes up. Mm-hmm. Betting round. 1, 2, 3, third card. Betting round. 1, 2, 3, fourth card. Betting round. This is the final betting round. Now everybody has 4 of their cards exposed and 1 down. And then you declare high or low, right? You take chips under the table and you come up with chips representing whether you're going high or low. And that's the game.
Yeah. Okay. I got 2 things to say.
Okay.
Number 1, have you ever played this where you don't always pass to your left?
Yes.
Or you don't pass to the person right to your left? Like if there's 6 people, you can pass across the table and then to your left and then across and then to your right.
I have played it that way, and I don't like that because then you can end up getting cards that you've passed.
Right.
Right.
Well, there's always that risk. Unless the person likes the cards you passed them.
Well, yeah, but I have played that way. I don't care for it.
Yeah, see, I like pass to your left the first time.
Yeah.
Then pass across the table.
Yeah.
Right? And then pass to your right the next time.
Yeah. Maybe if it was like pass to your left the first time, then 2 to your left the next time.
And then maybe 3 to your left, something like that.
But ultimately, no, I just like pass to your left. Just keep it that way.
It's just that you're always, the person to your left kind of knows what you're getting rid of.
Yes.
And they kind of know what you're, you can kind of tell if the guy's going high or low.
Sure.
So you got a read on one person.
Well, you've got and one person has a read on you. Yeah,
right.
That's true. Well, it's good you bring this up because now let's talk about strategy, right? When we've talked about high-low split games, a lot of times we'll say, well, initially you should really go for low, and then maybe you'll back into a high. Right. Something like that. So really initially try to go for low. I think in the case of Anaconda, it's the opposite. Yeah. Because so many people are going for low.
Right.
They're holding on to those low cards.
You're almost better off collecting high cards.
Yeah, right. So if you've got some kind of high hand that you can go for, I think that's better because people aren't going to be passing you low cards. They're going to be holding on to them.
Right. So now that I know that, when you're to my left, I should just pass you my low cards.
Well, okay. If we ever play this again and you're to my right, then just pass me low cards because I'm going to be going high, right? But that's the thing. Also, with so many cards being passed, there are very big hands.
Yeah, right.
Many times when I've played this game, at least a full house for high.
Right.
And the wheel for low or something pretty close to it.
Very close to the wheel, if not the wheel.
The big hands, yeah.
Well, my second comment was going to be, let's add a little twist to this game as if it needs more betting or whatever.
All right.
Let's make it high, low, going both ways.
What do you mean?
Wild cards going both ways.
Oh, all right.
So your low card in your hand is going to be wild for high, and your high card in your hand is going to be wild for low.
I mean, that's fine, but the hands are big enough as they is.
I know, but that'd be a monster killer hand. And then see passing stuff, right? You'd be like, okay, should I keep that too? So that's always my wild card.
Yeah, that's true. Or, you wouldn't want to, pass. Try to pass middle cards.
Try to pass middle cards, right? Exactly. You wouldn't want to pass a real high card or you wouldn't want to pass a king or a 2, right?
Yeah,
because they're wild,
right? Because if somebody has it, a person's going to have a wild card no matter what, whether it's a king or 2 or not.
But if you have a king or a 2, you've kind of decided what your wild card is going to be.
Maybe, but then again, if you passed a guy a 2, maybe that messes up his wild card.
Right.
Maybe he's got a couple of 3s. It's like, please don't give me a 2. Please don't give me a 2. Give him a 2.
Right. Well, that's playing offense, right? I'm thinking about playing defense, trying to protect my hand.
All right. Well, I think the game's good enough the way it is. Okay.
I like it with wild cards.
So just a quick recap. The first 3 rounds, you're passing 3 cards to the left, 2 cards to the left, 1 card to the left.
Right.
And then you discard 2 cards. You set up the 5 that you have in the order you want to reveal. You reveal one at a time with betting in between.
You should like this game because it has offense and defense.
That's true. I was talking to Mike when we were driving up to the casino the other day. I don't like games where there's no defense. We were talking specifically about golf and bowling.
Yeah.
Where there's really no defense.
There's no defense. Well, in bowling, the defense is kind of the alley itself. It's not the other person playing defense against you, but the lane is screwing you up.
Okay,
with the way they wax it and stuff. In golf, there really is no defense.
And that's why I said with golf, you should be able to hit the other guy's ball.
Yeah,
just knock it off the green.
Just knock it off. Yeah,
with your ball. Just
I like that rule. Speaking of golf, did you notice today in the news that Tiger Woods is now opening up a restaurant?
No.
Yeah, he's opening up a restaurant. Kind of sounds like a Seaus or something like that, a sports type restaurant.
Okay.
That's his new thing. So,
where's it going to be?
It's in Florida, where he lives.
All right.
Somewhere. So anyway, I just mentioned that because I guess he's done.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I want to say one more thing about Anaconda. I'll never forget, we were playing this once, and I was dealt ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Uh-huh.
And you look at that, you think, wow, what a great starting hand. Except that first round, you have to discard three.
Right. You may never get
and I never did.
Ace 2, 3, 4.
I had ace 2, 3, 4. I never got a card to go for my low.
Wow.
I had to give away, the 5, 6,
what could
7.
help you? A 5 or a 6, right?
Or a 7, anything, right?
7.
That's low. And everybody else was going for low.
7 still might lose, though.
Yeah, that's true in that game. But again, everybody was going for low. So I wasn't going to see a 5.
Right.
Wasn't going to see a 6, right?
So maybe you would have been better
cards.
off going for high.
But I had nothing high. I mean,
ace 2, 3, try it. Keep the 4, 5, 6, 7 and hope to get an 8 and get a straight.
Big deal though. A straight doesn't win in that game. And that's another thing too. If you're
unless they were suited and you had like flush potential
but even so, if you're
potential.
going for high, don't think I'll go for this straight or this flush. You want to keep pairs, trips, and try to go for full houses and 4s of a kind because those are the hands that win.
Those are going to win.
Yeah.
Unless we're playing with the wild cards.
Unless we're playing with wild cards, and then everybody at least has 4 of a kind, and most
people have a royal flush.
A royal flush, yeah, exactly.
So, what happens in this game with your jackpot?
Oh, that's a good. Well, okay, this is specific to our home game. We have a jackpot in our home game where if somebody gets a natural 4 of a kind or better, in other words, not using wild cards,
right,
they get a part of this jackpot. For this game, so many cards get passed. I would say get no 4 of a kind jackpot, only straight flush.
Straight
jackpot.
Flushes.
Yeah, because I've played this game too many times where people make 4 of a kind.
It's very easy.
It's very easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know that have we ever announced that? We must have because I don't remember.
I'm sure we have, but to be honest with you, it's been a while since we played this game. Yeah.
It was in years ago. I mean, in our 20s, we played it quite a bit.
Yes.
It was very popular.
Yeah. I think it is a popular home game amongst a lot of home games. Yeah.
It's nice because you kind of get to screw the other guy a little.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It's fun. Hey, if anybody has a home game they'd like us to talk about on the show, drop us a line at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, on the left-hand side of our homepage, under Categories, there's a link called Poker Home Games. Click on that, and it will take you to a page that lists all the home games we've talked about and the episodes on which we talked about them. So that's going to do it for this episode.
I got one more thing to say about home games.
Go.
You, not frequently, but fairly often, get a game from some listener, and a lot of times it's similar to a game we play.
Yes.
With just a few little variances.
Yes.
I would challenge somebody out there to come up with a game that we haven't played.
That's really completely conceptually different.
Right.
It's not like, okay, it's 7-card stud, but, clubs
I mean, people, they call it a different name usually.
Yes.
Usually it's just, we call it this and we play that game. We call it something else.
Right. Yes.
But I'd like to see somebody, just got to be somebody in this country who can come up with a game that we've never heard of.
Or has been playing a game. Yeah. That's not just a twist on all the games that we've been talking about.
Just something new.
That's good. Yeah. I hope that.
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
We should get Paul on it. Actually, he's our game maker.
He makes good games.
Yeah. He's made some
talked to him
games.
about that.
I'm going to have him. I'm going to tell him this week to come up with something.
He's in denial about the existence of this show anyway.
Yeah.
He was actually a guest once.
Yeah.
Right. But he doesn't listen to it.
No, he's got better stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Hey, be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline. And you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about how we don't like doing non-gambling things at gambling destinations.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonThat.com, And on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to casino. And we'd love to meet up with you. And this is going to be our last show before our trip to Vegas. So definitely follow us on Twitter. I'll be tweeting, virtually every step of the way to let you know where we are. And come to Vegas. We'd love to see you at Vimp. This is going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to this. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Now, Mike, this is the point of the show where I usually say take us home because you have some wisdom to impart on everybody. Right. So why don't you go for it?
Wisdom for this week. I guess we've already said it, but I'm going to reiterate this.
All right.
Doesn't matter if you place the number or if you're on the come line and the gods determine what number you're going to get. Just have fun.
Have fun.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Just turn to your friend who's with you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got a friend with you.
Yeah.
And it's not some stranger, because then you look stupid if you turn to the stranger and say, this is what we do. He doesn't even know you. Yeah. But if your friend's there, just say, yeah, this is what we do.
This is what we do.
And if a 7 comes up, so be it. We start over.
See, now for me, I have fun respecting the math.
Yeah.
That's my fun.
That's your fun.
Okay? You have fun spitting at it. Yeah. Spitting at the math.
I like to,
That's good
beat
too.
the math.
You like to beat the math up.
Yeah, I like to
take
beat
its
the
lunch
math
money.
up. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.